Hello, everybody. It's been a long while. Scott Golden here with you on the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. And a lot of people probably wondering, where have I been? We're going to address that here tonight in the next 15 minutes or so. For those of you who are used to my normally positive audios, this probably isn't one of them, but I'm going to try my best to give you a positive audio right after this one, so hang with us. This is just kind of a personal update for those of you who haven't seen me around in almost a year and a half. There's a reason behind that. In August of 2018, my body completely gave out on me. In short, my joints seized up and I was unable to move for a period of time. And so I found myself in a hospital and then transferred into a nursing care facility, at which it took me 15 months to get out of. When I left, I had about $200 to my name and was starting all over again. This audio recording is more about warning to people and the power and strength of the human spirit. I say warning because what I witnessed during that 15 months, I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. I saw people die. I saw people neglected, abused, mistreated, forgotten, unwanted, uncared for. All the while, most of these individuals in this particular facility that I will not name due to the pending of legal action against said facility, all the while they faced really no checks and balances. There were times when they thought I wasn't going to make it. I'm glad to be here now. I'm blessed to be here now. I'm glad to be and blessed to be helping each and every one of you as I can, and we're going to grow this thing. We're actually going to call what we do here the Progress Tribe. Progress Tribe merchandise will be available soon, within the next few months, once I'm on my feet. We're really going to do some really cool things. I'll tell you, nothing makes you want to live more than watching people die. Watching people suffer, watching people die will make you want to live, because all of a sudden, all the small stuff in life no longer matters. Really, truly, no longer matters. When I got into the nursing facility, I had been placed in the wrong place. I knew that from the beginning. And yet, those in charge, directors, social workers, owners of the facility, corporate entities for the larger company, ignored my pleas to be released. I wasn't in the physical condition to fight them. I wasn't in the mental condition to fight them. And yet, I watched everything. I watched as patients laid in beds for 4 to 5 hours between call light answers. I watched as people asked for help and were routinely denied access to proper medical care. I watched as infections went untreated and in some cases loss of limbs occurred. And it was all preventable. All of this is documented. I've got 39 pages currently sitting with my lawyer, and it will come out against the parent company. But suffice to say, it was and is the most harrowing experience that I've ever gone through in my nearly 40 years of life. When you don't have anybody to advocate for you and you are in a weakened state, it is the scariest, most humiliating, degrading, frustrating, saddening, maddening thing that one can ever imagine. I witnessed several people have untreated infections and later pass away as a result. I know what you're saying. You're saying, Scott, what about checks and balances? Why didn't you call authorities? And the answer is, I did. I called state representatives. I called ombudsmen. I called the Department of Health, as did others in the same facility. And the facility staff did exactly what they needed to do not to get caught, and not a bit more. Routinely, as in multiple times within a month, state officials would show up, but it was almost as if the people in charge were tipped off to their arrival, because those are the days that procedure would be followed according to state standards. There are employees who left over these issues, but they fear speaking out because if you speak out against a Medicaid, Medicare-run facility, the chances of you having your nursing, CNA, or QMA license stripped by jealous people or people who do not mean you well is extremely high. That being said, it was very difficult. For those of you that know me and know the work that I've done, I've come from behind before. I've been homeless multiple times due to surviving systemic abuse at the hands of my biological parents for the majority of my childhood. I've had rough things happen before. Nothing I went through, including but not limited to the physical, mental, emotional, and sexual exploitation in my childhood, compares to the pure torture of watching people suffer and having nothing you can do about it. I implore you, if you have a loved one, if you have a family member, a friend, a partner, a coworker, anyone that is needing medical treatment, long-term care facility necessary, please investigate that facility. If you already have someone in such a facility, I don't care if you have to quit your job, make sure that someone is checking on them at least weekly, if not more so. Preferably every other day with at least phone calls so that the issues they are having can be addressed. I don't know what to say about the way in which the disabled and elder community is treated in America in 2020, except it's unconscionable, it's unfortunate, it's incorrect, and it needs addressing. I have watched as people were denied medication because their insurance wouldn't pay for it. I have watched as people who had insurance had their insurance deny them access to care because, and quote, they didn't feel like paying for it or they weren't sick enough. In my case, my care was neglected sufficiently enough that my legs suffered permanent damage, which most likely is considered irreversible, which will affect my quality of life going forward. If that's the least of my problems, though, I'm okay with that. I'm blessed. I'm getting back on my feet. I left with $200 to my name because the insurance company would no longer pay for my care. And at the cost of $233 per day out of pocket, I chose to rather be homeless than to stay and gather more debt. I'm blessed because my legal counsel decided that he was going to pay for me to stay in a hotel for a month while I got myself together. And yet across this country and around the world, there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of people who don't have that option. If you believe in a higher power, pray for these people because they're suffering. If you don't, do something for these people because regardless of our beliefs, they are suffering. I raise this today as a concept simply because with the coronavirus, it's an opportunity for us as a global community to really look at why we do what we do. You know, in the weeks and months to come, we don't know how long the quarantine is going to continue. We don't know how long the lockdown is going to persist. But what we do know is that this is an opportunity if we choose to use it. It's an opportunity to reset our life. I have some questions for you. What are you going to do differently when you have your freedom back? What habits are you going to break? What people in your life that were toxic before are you going to kick in the butt and send them out the door? What people in your life that you were taking for granted before are you now going to spend more time with? What goals, aspirations, dreams, and values do you have that you'll pursue with new vim and vigor because you can? You know, the biggest thing I learned in 15 months in care and I can say this, I took freedom for granted. And I'm ashamed of myself for it. But more so, I'm ashamed of the thousands of people who do the same thing. Millions of us think the world owes us something. Truthfully, it doesn't. We have a series of opportunities. What we do with them is our own choice. That's the value. So, one of the things I'm going to put on a t-shirt is simply going to say, history or excuses, what are you making? Because you can't make both. See, a person who's progressive-minded makes history. They go off and do something amazing and powerful. Person who believes the world owes them something, well, they make a bunch of excuses. Well, it's not for me. Nothing ever goes right for me. I didn't come from the right family. I don't have the right job. I don't have enough money. I won't have, I can't have. We've all done it. And I'm not pointing fingers simply to say how horrible everyone is, simply instead to say, hey, what are you doing with today that matters? Who have you told that you love today? What person have you told that they matter today? If you have children, have you made sure they feel safe and secure right now? You know, it's difficult, especially for parents. Parents who have to work, and they leave their children in the care of family members or friends or neighbors. And these children, they have no idea what's going on. They don't understand all the dynamics of this virus. All they know is all the adults around them are scared and ill at ease and worried about money and worried about safety and worried about hand washing and worried about all these things. That worry is trickling over into your kids. It's trickling over into your partner. It's trickling over into your neighbor. So be kind to each other. Because in a moment's notice, it can all be gone. If I go back to the morning in August of 2018 when I woke up and I couldn't move my body, the first feeling I had was anger. It had finally happened. You see, I had been warned before that it could happen to me, that my body and joints could freeze up. But I pushed through, tried to be a hero, took on too much responsibility, took on too much debt, took on the world, and pushed past my limits. And we all do it. It's okay to need help. It's okay to need assistance. It's okay to have boundaries and say, I can't do anymore. More than anything, it's okay to be part of a global community that is healing. You know, we turn on the news and we hear about how everything's bad. We hear about how thousands of people have died, right? And how more are scheduled to die. What about the millions, not billions, that are still living? What about those of us who are going to be on the other side of this and be okay? What are we doing today to make a better tomorrow? Are we doing sufficiently, or are we phoning it in? Are we waiting until after the bug or after? And how many times have we all done this? When I get married, I'll feel better. When I get a better job, I'll feel better. When I have kids, I'll be happy. When I make more money, I'll be happy. When I whatever, I'll be happy. I'll be sad. I'll be glad. I'll be, as if our emotional state is determined by our circumstances. In reality, our emotional state is determined through our circumstances, as in you can reset yourself in any situation. I learned so much about gratitude and humility in the care facility. I learned that how you speak to people, even in the simplest of things, matters just as much as how you're spoken to. There are some amazing nurses and CNAs that work at the facility that I was at, and there are also some people that I wouldn't hire to go across the street to McDonald's and get something off the dollar menu for me. What's the point of what I'm saying here? It takes all kinds. No matter where you go, no matter what you're doing, there are good and bad people around you. Don't trust that everyone has your best interest at heart, but similarly don't believe that everyone's out to get you. This is your life, here, now, today. Will you own it, or will it own you? In the weeks and months to come, I endeavor to bring you daily content of inspiration, inquisition, hope, faith, belief, transformation, and it'll be my pleasure. It'll be my privilege. If you'd like to contact me for private sessions, please feel free to send me a private message through here on YouTube, or you can join and follow at PO Perception on Twitter. P as in Paul, O as in Oreo, Perception on Twitter. I'll always get back to you within 24 hours. I remind you, this is your moment. Own it. Make it yours. Make history. No one knows what you're going to do, which means you're not a mistake. You're not a failure. You're a work in progress, and you're a work in process. No matter what you've done, it doesn't matter. It matters what you're doing. So what are you? What are we doing today? This has been Scott Golden, Golden Opportunities Coaching. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.